Good afternoon and welcome to this panel that for the first time in the history of TIEF is devoted to sports as a means to attract investments. We are online with Ms. Serrano. If we can show the video. Okay, wonderful. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. I don't know whether all the speakers are there. Otherwise, we can start. Okay. I only see two screens. Good morning, everyone. We can start by thanking Professor Biancone. I would really like to thank him for this invitation, and I would like to thank his entire team, research team, the City of Turin, the Chamber of Commerce, all the entities that for years have been making this forum possible. So we are protagonists of an exchange with the Islamic world. However, some might ask why we meet and talk about sports and investment attraction in an event such as this one. Because, in fact, in our territory, in our beautiful Piedmontese region, we need to create more awareness of the competences to create excellence and innovation present in entities and startups and sports companies, and also sports entities that are coming to play in the world of sports. 15 years ago, Turin had the pleasure to host the Winter Olympic Games. But since then, sports at a high level was a bit forgotten. So starting from this year, Turin will start to be, again, a protagonist for the next 5 years for international events, from the ATP finals to the Special Olympics of next year, and to the University Games and Special Olympics that we're going to host in 2025. But is it right to say that Turin and Piedmont, upon these occasions, can have a strong attraction only from the tourist viewpoint and enogastronomic viewpoints? Of course, here there are undisputable excellencies of our region. However, there might be something more, so I might start by asking this to Alberto Sacco, who is a member of the Technical Commission NITO ATP Finals for the City of Turin. These finals for Turin, they have a forward and an afterward. So what are the strong points that made it possible for Turin to win this candidature? Please, Alberto, you have the floor. Thank you very much, and good morning to everyone. I will start by saying that we have won this candidature against 40 among the most important cities around the world, and getting in the finals, we were able to beat the 3 cities such as Singapore, Tokyo, and London. So this makes you understand both the importance of the event, taking into account our competitors, and the difficulty of getting this success for Turin. The event is international, and it's very important with important setbacks for our territory. I've had the honor of participating from the very beginning with the first inspections with ATP and the Tennis Italian Federation. Despite what we hear and say, our city is a nice discovery for the people who come and visit us. In reality, we really do have everything. So when I was talking about my city, I was talking about a city that can be attractive at any time, because we have museums and we have several possibilities of having cities with different subjects. So because we span from the modern art gallery to the extraordinary Egyptian museum, we have the first Italian museum of automotive, we have the cinema museum, we have the museum of Juventus. So we have really everything that can fit all flavors. And then something that we aimed at with our candidature is that Turin can be described as a central point from which in 40 minutes' time you can reach Milan. In 1 hour's time, you can reach the Aosta Valley and the Mont Blanc. You can reach the Olympic Mountains, and in 40 minutes' time, you can reach the hills of Alba. And in 1.5 hours, you can reach Genoa and the Cinque Terre in Liguria. You can reach Monte Carlo and Nice very easily. And so I always make the example, imagine the same journey, the same trip with so many things to say. In California, you can imagine how many more kilometers you have to drive. So this is one of the aspects that convinced the organizer to entrust Turin with one of the most important world events, with effects of 100 and over 100 million and 300 million visitors online. So this is something absolutely key at the international scale, and this can really change the future of our city. Alberto Sacco, thanks a lot. So that's the importance of infrastructures, of connections, of the fact of being connected in a territory such as ours. So also in the Middle East right now, it seems that people are investing more and more in sports events, and it seems that these are used with a clear objective of diversifying economy. And is this true? I will ask this to Alberto Brugnoni, who is managing partner of TIEF, which is the Association for the Development of Alternative Instruments for Financial Innovation. Thank you very much, Marta. First of all, I would like to say that all countries in the Middle East have a long-lasting sports tradition, with the 3 traditional sports that are the run of dromedaries, falconry, and shooting. So what has changed in archery? What has changed is that our sports that are more common for the Western world, such as cricket or Formula One or football, all the water sports and all the air sports that are related to the desire of diversifying economic sources. Also at the end of the era of fossil fuels, in a very clear way. So certainly there is an expense that is something that comes at our latitude to diversify economy, and also to underline the instrument of social cohesion, because sports are seen as an associating factor for all ethnic groups. In Italy, we have 10% of the so-called new Italians. In Dubai, for example, in the Middle East, it's 90% of new citizens. So we really need a cohesion, a social cohesion for these ethnicities. What we need to remember What is this converted into? Many of the sports events at the international level, such as the Formula One races or very important tennis tournaments, are carried out in Bahrain, in Dubai, or in Saudi Arabia. And these are now in the calendar at the international level. And all the world of football, where there is the public financing that is pushing through. So the takeover of Newcastle, which is one of the historical football teams of the UK, with the sovereign fund, Saudi sovereign fund. So we have the Manchester United that for many years has been controlled by Abu Dhabi. And then we have a big European team that is Paris Saint-Germain that has been bought by Qatar. And so these initiatives are really spanning at 360 degrees.
So the scenery is very interesting and diversified. So we are not only talking about economic development, but also multidisciplinary, and also from the multidisciplinary point of view. But all these events, they allow for visibility, but in my opinion, we should not only be onlookers, we should become main characters along with the famous champions, because also for our innovation champions, research centers, university and enterprises, our competence centers in Turin, 4.0, which works together with the Politecnico as far as industrial manufacture is concerned in this fourth revolution, which has seen us protagonists of the field. Anyway, we have this reality, and it is a transformation which is ongoing and which allows also for a lot of opportunities to the sports sector. So we should also develop actions which may have good territorial marketing feedback, not only in Piedmont. So as an association, our association, which is called the Sports Innovation Hub, together with Torino Chamber of Commerce, I mean, we are working together to develop a program of events and sustainability so that that everything may become visible during also the ATP finals, the first step. But Torino will not stop at this first event. There are in the next 4 years, we will have also the World University Olympics, let's say. So I would like also to ask Alberto Rainoldi, Deputy Rector, Sport University of Torino. I would like to ask Alberto, how must the city get prepared, and what about the impact of the Universiade, the World University Games, and what about its impact? Thank you very much. Good morning, everybody. Universiadi, World University Games, are a very important topic, and I would like to recap very quickly what it means. We are talking about an event which is a periodical event and takes place. It's held in different world cities. This year it will take place in Lucerne. Usually it's from the 10th to the 20th of December, and it gathers all students, athletes, very high-quality athletes. Some of them are also Olympic athletes and World Game athletes, and they gather together with 50,000 people. Usually, they gather together to take part in these Olympic Games of university students. So this year, we have managed to get this event in Turin. It will be held in Turin in 2025 to close, let's say, these 5 years which will see large sports event taking place in Turin. And so that we will have university students that at the same time are also very good athletes, which leads us to another subject, which is a dual career subject matter, the dual career of those who are athletes and students at the same time, very high level ones. And public structures are trying now to find solutions to make life easier for them so that they may graduate and start in the best possible way without having to without giving up on their sports skills. So this is one of the direction of the university welfare, that is to say, allow students to optimize their skills. But the main feature of university, of course, is that of teaching and carrying out research at the same time. So as Marta was saying beforehand, one of the main activity of the university is dealing with research, and we, of course, carried out research also in the sports sector, particularly in the past few years, thanks to innovation and innovative materials, which are the foundation of a lot of sports. Think of automotive sports, where materials is extremely important. Think of skiing, tennis rackets as well, maybe also soccer. The ball design and the shoe design keeps changing. So evidence-based scientific research is one of the main objectives of our universities. So this is the main message Universiadi, as an event by themselves, try and convey. Of course, they also involve the involvement and participation of thousands of people who will come and visit our city. There will be most young people, of course. They will not come over with a lot of money vis-à-vis ATP finals. Of course, we're talking about different let's say, financial economics aspects, but Torino will the attention, so that we will have a lot of initiatives from 2020 to 2025, a lot of initiatives around the Universiadi. So this is a very important message, the one about young people. Youth will not come over with a lot of money, but they will surely come over with fresh ideas and creativity, which is already happening, taking place in different research groups. You have also mentioned automotive and the sport, the car races and things. And right now, I mean, we were talking beforehand of the diversifying economy. Torino right now is sort of worried about this critical crisis event. It's a turning point, maybe radical transformation of automotive industry, which is no longer to be seen from a traditional point of view. And we may think of this transformation from this point of view, that is to say, using sports as key, as the winning turning point to create opportunities and change our industrial and manufacturing texture, particularly for our young youth. Because, I mean, sports basically can be present in many different sectors, and it is fertile soil to experiment a lot of technologies. Think of artificial intelligence, which is being more and more used in digital communication or in the system to prevent accidents on work, for example. Think of biorobotics and engineering, all the different systems which can improve all the sports sector and sector, different sports sector. We're talking about clothing, the wearable and intelligent clothing and materials. I think of tourism that can be made easier by technology, and think also of inclusion, Special Olympics, Paralympics. We had incredible results this year at the national level. And through technology, we therefore should aim at making sports accessible to people bearing disabilities. And we must not forget the new challenges of the new national plan. And green is one of the main pillars of the plans. Environmental sustainability, which must be essential part in managing our sports plans, indoor and outdoor. So it's a word which is still invisible sometimes in the background, behind the scenes. But it is a galaxy, actually, which can open up another important path. And I'm still talking about what Alberto Rainoldi was talking about. Alberto, talking about human resources, what about young people and their reaction to these future jobs? How are they preparing for this university future? Also the investment. Turin University are investing in new paths, aiming to a better management of the sports world. Yeah, thank you for the question. It's very important. It's very easy to answer this question right now, thanks to the results we have got during the Olympics. An easy case, an example, case a which made us proud. We had medals for the man who jumps highest in the world and run fastest in the world. But these results come from a past of a federation which had in the past big issues and a lot of failures. In the previous editions, the Athletic Federation, decided to change its director and appoint another person, Professor Latorre, who comes from the world of motion sciences. He's a professor and at university who surrounded himself of young researchers. These people are younger than 35 years old, and they are graduated in motion sciences, and they mainly also answered all the questions which had remained open, the actual issues of the athletes and the coaches, based on evidence-based researches. They did not invent things which nobody knew whether they would work. They chose solutions which had been proved to be working solutions. So the results are the consequence of those investments that university and academic world and research world had carried out. So this is the answer with respect to what universities are doing for the new jobs and new skills. University is trying to define a new path. It has created a new profession, a new job, which is the sports kinesiologist, that is to say, the person who deals with movement, biomechanical experts. For example, one of the athletes was followed by one of the deep sleep experts, so that the circadian rhythm had to be changed, so that also the sports result would be improved. And with respect to the academic reaction of the young people, we have, together with FIDIAG, become part of a project which is called Healthy Campus, international a project in which all the university campuses all over the world commit to follow a number of criteria so that they may prove their campus the healthiest campus in which people and students may live. We're talking about a campus in which physical sports activity is taken care of and protected but safeguarded, but the campus also cares for sustainability, materials, food, and materials which are used to build, for construction and buildings, drinking water, and so on and so forth. And the process may expand to the city as well. So it's the kind of care that we should follow for our daily choices so that they may follow sustainability requirements and 2030 requirements so that the individual may be cared for, the citizen as well, and so the individual and the citizen may become the center of our choices. Thank you, Alberto. And I must say that we must be proud of our universities and their approaches and their sports skill and results. But we must also say that for the past few years, also our Chamber of Commerce, thanks to which all these events, the ATP and the rest of it, also the Chamber of Commerce, thanks to which this event has been made possible. The Turin Chamber of Commerce has been financing professional, vocational training and orientation events and activities for the development of professional skills for young secondary high school skill students. The Ministry for Instruction last year financed a number of projects involving 10 high schools in Italy, and it's a project which was also developed in our mountains, also at Desambrines School in Ulx, which is one of the few high schools that promoted a dual career approach. We're talking now of the skiers, of the skiing athletes, but not only that. So we must further highlight the need to build in young people a new vision, entrepreneurial vision, change the way they see the world which is behind the scenes, and young people, the youth may not always see as a sort of arena in which they may develop their professional, vocational career. But there is also another category. We were talking about young people in particular, but there is also another category that is women that in sports are all very often marginalized as far as sports is concerned. In the Middle East, apparently, they are investing large amount of money on women's sports, also to carry out a deep social change. And this makes me proud as a woman. But I will also would like to ask Alberto Brugnoni about the advantages of this approach to the Middle East advantages. But I have a slide of the role of women, Muslim women in sports, which is highly debated, We are not, there are a lot of unclear areas. Nowadays in the Gulf area, in each single country, certainly in Egypt and North Africa, a process is being carried out very quickly and through all the different layers of society to facilitate so that, I mean, women may become part, more and more so, of the world of sports. Just remember that, however, that until 25 years ago, let's say, women also in Italy and else in Europe were not as present as nowadays. So we have 4 different areas according to the color, starting from school gymnastics up to tournaments for women's sports. But a lot of things are are being carried out in the golf areas. On the right side, you can see the February 2020 sports tournament of women with the 70 headed clubs from 18 Arab countries taking part. The Dubai Sport Council, which held football, basketball, volleyball, and handball tournaments for women. And everything is on the move, let's say. The objective is not only that of developing business sectors, which are indeed important, however. So if we want to talk about diversification from oil sources, but we're also talking about transformational power of society, and of women's sports. Also in Saudi Arabia is not here because there was no room enough on the slide. Also in Saudi Arabia, a lot of initiatives are being developed as far as women's sports is concerned. So the pictures thinking is very good. But I would like to say that the world is not all black and white. Those who have been following TIEF in 2015 may remember that 2015 or 2017 is when we were at university. That was 2015. We had invited the World Championship of TIEF Mohammed, an American Muslim woman, that was Olympic golden medal. And she came fencing, and her speech was very important and involving. The following year, Olympics had been scheduled, and due to her representation, she should have been the flag holder of the United States, but that was vetoed by the USA Federation because of the veil she was wearing, much as she was the world champion of that country. So the same applies to other sports. The way volleyball, women and other athletes dress can be source of discrimination. So we should basically make a step forward to create understanding cultural areas so that we can also mutually organize. Thank you very much. So thank you, Alberto. So this confrontation, let's say, discussion with the Arabic world in the past few years, unluckily, we have been limited in physical movement, but it's nice also through this forum to be able to connect all the same, even though not in person, and we may be able to set up cooperations for the future cooperations. We are talking about different subjects. We are talking of a very important potential skills and opportunities at all levels when we are talking about more larger women involvement. I'm not also talking about management aspects. We have talked about Paralympic sports. We have talked about Special Olympics. And these are important. This is important leverage that we must use to promote, let's say, the sort of shared objective worldwide. think of 2030 United Nations agenda that leads to the fight against the social unfairness and inequalities. And sport is a very fundamental vehicle in this sense, from this point of view. But if we go back to the economic factor, which is most representative basically nowadays of us, I mean, we are sort of reaching this conclusion. If we're talking about Turin and our regional texture and tissue, we must actually leave the behind-the-scene situation and highlight our skills and top realities. And this is the spirit also of Sport Innovation Hub that has been working with University and Chamber of Commerce. Professor Biancone, Professor Rainoldi, they know the situation. We are sharing objectives and actions, initiatives. And we are indeed active, been extremely active for the past few years, thanks to the Politecnico. 2 years ago, we developed the Impact TO Sport Innovation Future format. We are also with reference to the human capital, Sport Innovation Future, Sport Innovation Awards we created last year to highlight and give value also to the smallest realities. We have given awards to startups and small entities to award, acknowledge their contribution to industrial level, to the industrial arena and research arena and economic arena. So, and Sport Innovation Program wants to be shared. And also for those who are listening to us from far away, this may be an interesting point, meeting point to generate, to share, to generate future collaboration activities. On the other end, Islamic finance sector has been expanding at a European level. And with reference to what the introduction to this forum says, it is extremely important from the point of view of social and economic inclusion. It's important to attract next generations, to develop strategic partnership, strategic initiatives, which means initiatives and partnerships which go on a continuous basis without, and we must stop running the risk of developing these cooperations that are then forgotten. Why not create real, actual strategic program that may involve more and more key players on a continuous basis? And our association has become an entity, a body, an agent for aggregation of all these different players. It would be nice to find counterparts in the Islamic world to create a sort of a sharing activity. So this meeting today is to sort of develop attention on our research and education, economic teaching. But I would also, to conclude, I would like to recap our possible actual proposal with respect to potential investors, above all partners with whom to start new development and transformation paths.
What will it become in the next year, starting from the ATP finals? I'm still looking at Alberto Sacco. What will be the heritage of these years of ATP, and what kind of assessment have you made concerning these? Well, our ideas are clear. I have a clear mindset on how the future of Turin will be. It was necessary to reinvent our beautiful city. I was born here, and I saw the changes from Fiat to the industrial development to everything that happened over the past 50 years. So we came from a difficult time, not only for Turin, but also for the country. So what have we imagined? We have to aim at tourism. We have to aim at territorial marketing, because competition has moved at international level. Therefore, ATP finals have been a very strong building block. As I said, they have started to change the wind blowing over our city. They changed the climate, the environment. So it's a 5-year development span we can start thinking of, and many things have started to happen in our city. We have taken other important events. Important investments have started. We sold the tall building of RAI. The international investors have come. That earlier on hadn't come. So new requalification of important areas, such as the Porta Palazzo area, the market area. Starting from 2024, we'll have a very important Congress Center hosting 5,000 guests. So 5,000 people at the same time in the same room. This will be run by the Milan Centro Congressi. So it's a listed company, the first Congress Center in Europe. Ryanair has come. We have become a hub of Ryanair, 200,000 euros investment. So many things from the tourist viewpoint that have not happened by chance, but are the result of a journey that, putting together all the pieces, has led to the victory at Eurovision, which is the first event in the world from the music point of view. Also $500,000 result. So all these can increase the quality and the attractiveness of the city of Turin for other investments. It's not banal that one of the first companies of investment, CB Real Estate, has placed Turin on top of all the other cities in terms of potential and development for tourism, according to its last report. So according to CB, Turin is the first Italian city that will recover from the tourist point of view, and will grow, and will be the city that will grow most compared to the other ones. So these data have been issued by one of the main consultant agencies. So we cannot work only on tourism. We couldn't work only on tourism, and we could not keep on going just investing on production. So this has been the other project, the one you were talking about, Marta, is the project related to manufacturing and competence center. It's a large area with large investments coming from the government, the complex crisis area, Mirafiori, competence center, laboratory, innovation. All that area over the 5 years will become a place hosting highly skilled laboratory jointly with the Polytechnic University of Turin. And these highly specialized laboratories will become an attractor in order to bring back the production in our territory. It's a territory that already invites for certain characteristics, and it's been considered a world excellency. But we had to restart the engines. So starting from 2024, we'll see this complex area. And if we are good, and the university and the region and the city will be good, from those step on, we will be able to bring production. And also the artificial intelligence center. That's another important target that has been reached. It will be the headquarters at the national level for artificial intelligence, together with the Polytechnic University and the University of Turin. And that's another card we have to play, always with a focus to innovation and industrial production. So attracting international tourists and international companies coming to Turin, and finally starting to invest in our city. So we are closing, but I believe Alberto Sacco has well defined a city where nothing is missing. So I should say, in a provoking city, we're not missing anything. We just have the duty right now, because it's true, it's an opportunity, but it's an opportunity that is becoming also a responsibility. And so we have the duty of using and exploiting these wonderful infrastructures and human capital, both in terms of innovation and entrepreneurship and research. So we have the opportunity of collaborating with partners, not only at the national level, but also abroad. So I would like to close this session by thanking all speakers, by thanking the organizers and the listeners, and wishing for this to be our shared objectives for the next 5 years at least. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot.